Hey guys, I'm Sherry Criswell, independent designer for Chalk Couture. Today I'm back. I'm going to do a few more signs for bathroom fun. Actually, I'm updating my bathroom, or really not updating, just changing it. So I'm going to use these, and last week I used this Hello Sweet Cheeks to make this, to hold toilet paper. So now I'm going to use the other transfers in here, and I'm going to do it all today. I'm going to put them on 3 different Chalk Couture surfaces, so they're all pretty much ready to go. It should be fast and easy to do all 3 of them. So let's take it from the beginning with the transfers. This is how you get them. And you take a scissors, cut along these cutting lines. And since they're reusable, you want to mark the backs so you know which one goes with which one. And I'm just going to put the number on here, 1, 1. And you could write hand towels or just the back, but it's easier for me if I know which goes on which. So, and then this one should be fairly easy, but we'll mark it anyway. Okay, let's start with the smaller ones. Now here are the frames, the smaller frames from Chalk Couture. And we gotta open these up. I should have opened this before I started this, but I want to show you how you get them. Now actually on these box frames, see where they have the corners all protected and it's nice? These are a one-time surface, but you can do it on the back or the front. And I'm going to take these, put them right in there. And this other one, no, we'll have to open it and see. Yeah, it'll have to go that way. Okay. I am going to put a little wax on these, and then we'll chalk. Okay, now to prep these, this is what I'm using. There's several different kinds out there. This is the natural, and it's Minwax. So, just gonna take a rag to apply it. Just take some of this and just spread it across. Now, the reason I'm putting this on here, it's wood, and wood is very porous. So number one, it will soak up a whole bunch of paste. And number 2 is to protect your transfers from any wood particles that might get on it, and be a little bit hard. You won't be able to use the transfer over and over like you want it to. It'll wear it out quicker. So this kind of protects it. Also, it'll keep the paste from pulling up with your transfer. It'll stay on your design, which can happen sometimes on very porous surfaces. Now on their chalkboards, you don't ever have to wax it. Others I do. When I make homemade ones, I will wax it. If in doubt, go ahead and wax them, except for chalkboards. Especially if you paint it, you want to wax it, or I do anyway. Sometimes the transfers are sticky and they will pull up the paint and it'll end up on your transfer, which isn't always the easiest to get off. So if you take a little bit of time for the prep, you'll be glad you did. And it doesn't really take that long. Oh, wait a minute, let's do the long one too. Let's get them all waxed. Now, after I get the wax on, I'm going to take a buffing pad that I have and just buff it a little bit. So it doesn't take very long, and then you're all ready to chalk. I wanted to show you this from the beginning to the end, just how easy this is. Not only easy, but I love the crisp designs on them. Now, a lot of the designs do have distressing in them already. This one doesn't. However, the design is very farmhouse-ish. But some of them that do have the distressing in them, you see all the white. That is the netting. That's a silk screen netting. Let me see if I can. Can you see the netting in there? That's what gives you such a nice, crisp design. But in some of the transfers where they have it purposely distressed, they'll have little of this color, little spots throughout. So it keeps you from putting the chalk through to that, and it gives it that distressed look, which is kind of neat because it hides a whole lot of mistakes. So let's take a buffing pad and buff this out. And that's all that is just kind of smoothing it out and buffing it in there. Just kind of, you can kind of feel it when it doesn't drag. It makes it a little bit smoother. Then it's pretty good. And the same with this big one. And you would do the same process with the back too if you wanted to chalk on the back, which I might sometime, but not today. Today I'm just going to do this side. See, they all have a nice back to it, so you could chalk on that also. Alright, let's start with this one. I decide if I want to put them both the same way or one up and down and one sideways. I'm thinking one like this and one like that. Okay, so to begin with, let's take the transfer. Okay, see how sticky it is? And if you can see the netting in there. Anyway, that's what makes it really, really good imprint on your transfer. I am going to fuzz this a little bit. All that does is take some of that stickiness off. Just a little bit, and make sure you don't have any big lint in the design. All right, let's put this down, and you can measure, but I usually don't do that. I just kind of eyeball it. Hope I have it straight. Now you rub this like this to get all the air bubbles out, because if there is an air bubble there, the ink can go through it underneath your transfer, and you don't want it to do that. I've even seen some people use the squeegee and kind of make sure everything is nice. Okay. You know, how about if we get all these placed on here first. And I am just turning this over a little bit, because when you put this in water to clean it, it takes the stickiness off, so then you can pull this back. But this will help me get a place to pull it up, if that makes sense. Okay, let's just chalk this once, or fuzz it once. All right. I think I have to move this over a little bit. Looks good to me. Just don't want any air bubbles. So we'll do these first, or I'll do them first, and then I'll do the big one. Get some of this stuff that I'm not using out of the way. Okay, now I'm going to use black velvet chalk paste. I'm using paste, not ink. Ink is permanent. Anything you can heat set, either by in the oven, like coffee mugs, or fabric with a heat press or an iron, you would want to use ink. Everything else you'd use paste. Now, paste is semi-permanent, meaning it goes on wet, as you can see here. It dries hard. You can rub it, and even sanding it sometimes it takes a while before you can distress the edges, so it'll stay on there. You want it to get off, you spray water on it and rub it off. But if you want it permanent, like if you're going to put it outside for some reason, and you're worried about the weather, you can spray a sealer on it. Right, I am going to put just a little bit of water because it's a little thick for me. You kind of have to figure out your own way, which way you like it better. If you get it too thin, it might seep out, give you a little bleeding marks. So just add a little bit of water at a time and use distilled water. Okay. Take your squeegee and you're just going to bring it down, cover all the white areas, which is your netting. That's your screen print. Anything that you see that is white is what you're going to chalk, and you want to make sure you cover it all. Okay, then you take the excess, put it back in your jar, so you can use that again on another project. And then I'm just smoothing out any lines that I may have. Because if you have it, leave it too thick in places, it will show up with a line, and you don't want that. All right, that one's good. Let's see how I did. Pull it up by the straight edge because it's like fabric. If you pull it on the corner or the bias, you could stretch the transfer out. Ah, see? See how nice and clear that is? Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to set it. I have a tub of water here over to the side. And I just put it in there, sticky side up. All right, now we're going to do the same process. Just put a little bit of the paste on here. All you have to do is be careful not to get in the areas that you don't want this in. It's black, and it's a very dark color, and although you did wax it, so it's possible you could get it off, but it's not a chalkboard, so be careful. Normally chalk paste, you can get it to come off. Now make sure you get all the areas covered. No lines. Okay, let's see. And then you just pull. Yes, great. All right, so far so good. In the water bath it goes. Just wiping my hands. All right. I hope I'm in the view of the camera here. I have a tendency to work closer to me, it's easier. So, let's see if this is in the camera. Yes, yay. I hope the others were. Okay, now the large transfer, which says Freshen Up, we're gonna put on here. It's like perfect for this surface, size-wise. Okay, and again, I'm going to turn this down just a little bit, right here. Take it off. I'm putting it down here, just so I can fuzz it. And you don't have to use this towel. You could use your shirt, t-shirt, uh, any kind of towel. All you're doing is taking some of the stickiness off. Then after you do that, just check, make sure you don't have big clumps of lint, because that will keep, especially if it's in your netting, in the silkscreen netting, because that'll keep the chalk from going through to your surface. Okay, again, I am just kind of eyeballing it. I move it over here just a little bit. Oops. All right. You see where it's bubbling up a little bit. Let me take your hand is the best one to use first, because you can feel if there's bubbles in it. Sometimes you can't see it there, but you can feel it. And then you can take, now this is an angle squeegee, which I might use. When you feel confident that you've got all the air bubbles, because sometimes when I'm talking and I hear that crinkly sound, I go, oh, that's a bubble. What's that going to turn out like? So take your time, make sure you got it on here the way you want it. Okay. And the same paste. Now, chalk paste does dry fairly fast. So these projects where it's all one color are nice. They go fast, and you usually don't have to worry about the paste drying out. If that happens, what happens is that it'll stick to your transfer, and it won't stay on your surface. I think I'm gonna have to put some more. We also have this big handle squeegee. It's a big one, but yeah, I'd rather use this or the small squeegee, but it makes fast of your work. I just have trouble controlling where it's all going. But as you can see, this is pretty fast. All right, I have a lot of extra paste here. I'm going to try to take the flat end here, just go across, try to get all those lines out of there. Check and make sure you have everything covered, like I missed that right there. Let's pull it up and see what we have. Oh, look at that. Awesome. Okay. See, that didn't take long. That's real time. I have to wash my transfers now. You don't want it to set in the water too long or stay on the transfer without putting them in water too long. Look, aren't they cute? I love it. All right, I'm going to take a picture of it all set up and I'll put it in here. Really cool. What do you guys think? Pretty good. No time at all. And it goes with this. Let's move this up a little bit. Awesome, right? Okay, I'm excited about this. I like it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Now I get to go and clean up. Bye.